right, let's hit the field.
All right.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Today is Tuesday, August 20th, and the Yankees were back in the Bronx to take on the Cleveland Guardians, who are having a very good season. Luis Gil on the mound looking for win number 13. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Welcome to
Pinstripe Territory.
Come on, Erik.
Just when they thought I was out.
They pull me back in.
Yikes. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Good to see the Pinstripes for the first time as Pinstripe Territory, but that was an ugly finish to what was a pretty tight baseball game for the first 11 innings. Joining me tonight is Aiden Deschamps. We're going to talk about this in detail, but we've also got to talk about some other stuff tonight. Aiden, how you doing?
Could be better after watching that absolute slop of a baseball game, but I guess this is my Pinstripe Territory debut, so that's the silver lining. So
yeah, I thought it was a pretty good baseball game. It was back and forth. The Yankees had plenty of opportunities to win it. We had back-to-back home runs from Soto and Judge in the first inning. Bit of an up-and-down start from Luis Gil, who left with a back injury. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Multi-hit game for Anthony Volpe, rather. Trevino got the Barry Bonds treatment, walked 3 times. DJ LeMahieu stinks. I'll let you talk about DJ LeMahieu in just a second. Huge pinch hit double for Austin Wells, but Grisham got nailed at the plate. Some questions about why he slowed down going around third. Rojas, it looked like, put his hands up for just a second. Nice job by Jake Cousins tonight in a high-leverage situation, but everything fell apart in the 12th inning. 6 runs in the top of the 12th for the Cleveland Guardians. All right, Aiden, unleash the fury.
sorry, let me get to my notes here. I mean, the Yankees had, plenty of opportunities to win tonight, but I mean, DJ LeMahieu is not a Major League Baseball player. He's just not. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know how else they're going to tolerate, like how much longer they're going to tolerate this guy, but he's not capable of being a Major League Baseball player and being in the lineup every day, but he's in the lineup way too much. The Yankees lost tonight because of DJ LeMahieu. They had other opportunities to win. Grisham could have ran harder, or Rojas could have, not held him up. But the Yankees lost tonight because of DJ LeMahieu. He had 2 botched double plays. That one in the last inning was horrific. He came up in 2 huge spots and hit a ground out and struck out. Entering tonight, DJ LeMahieu had a .512 OPS, the 3rd lowest in baseball with a minimum of 200 plate appearances, a 49 WRC+. That's the 6th lowest in baseball, and a 56.5 ground ball percentage, which is the 7th lowest in baseball. With
oh man, 56% of the time he's hitting ground balls.
Yeah, and he
That's
has a negative 1.4 wins above replacement, according to Baseball Reference. I don't know how much longer they can tolerate putting this guy in the lineup. He's a negative asset. He's a complete negative asset. He's performing worse than Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks were when the Yankees ate their contracts. You can eat his contract. Sure, you owe him some money, but he is actively hurting your team. He is getting reps over young players like Oswaldo Cabrera, Oswald Peraza, and Ben Rice. And their growth, their development is being stunted by a negative asset in DJ LeMahieu. He is not a Major League Baseball player.
Verdugo also stinks. Verdugo 0 for 6 tonight, hitting .230, the OPS down to .649. Give me the Martian, man. Give me the Martian and let Verdugo be the 4th outfielder. Just inject a little bit of something else into this lineup. Not a good night for Luis Gil. Just didn't have it tonight. He was laboring all game for the 2nd start in a row. 6 walks, so the command was non-existent. Hitters did not seem uncomfortable in the least against him. He looked like he was a little bit stiff on the mound. I noticed that he wasn't finishing his pitches, and I guess Aaron Boone or the training staff noticed it too, and he had to come out of the game. They said it turned out to be lower back tightness, which checks out. That would keep you from finishing your pitches. But Aiden, bad back equals bad command. What are your thoughts on Luis Gil tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of checks out. A bad back is, of course, going to hurt your command. Anytime you're hurt as a pitcher, your command is going to falter. But this is also, a result of just his fatigue as well over the course of the season. His pitch velo and his movement and his RPMs were, all up to normal according to like his yearly averages. The guy's never been known for his command, but the last few starts, it's been like especially bad. So many walks tonight. This season, he's eclipsed the most innings he's thrown in a season in his professional career. So this kind of fatigue and this regression because of the fatigue was forecasted by us fans. I think we all saw this coming. We've all been saying he's needed a break at some point, and I think the Yankees have waited just a little bit too long to give him that break. We don't know the severity of his injury yet, but I think regardless, an IL stint I think it would help him. I think at the very least he should miss his next start or two because you need this guy healthy for the playoffs. You have to have Luis Gil at 100%. You can't have him at 50%, 65, 85, 90%. You need him at 100% because the guy he's a flamethrower. He is nasty stuff, and you need him to be 100% right for him to perform. It's good timing that Cody Petit and Clark Schmidt are on their way back soon.
Yeah, you saw that Tyler Glasnow got placed on the IL by the Dodgers, and he basically said, I'm fine. So obviously teams still doing the phantom IL thing, but if he had to leave the game with back stiffness, that lends itself. You don't need to do anything else. Just place this guy on the IL. Give him 10 days. That's 2 starts, right? Let his arm freshen up. Let his back freshen up. Let him finish out the hot part of the summer. When he comes back, it'll be nice and cool and crisp autumn. Hopefully, if this summer ever ends, and hopefully he'll be sharp again. Let's talk a little bit about Boone. So Anthony Volpe, good night tonight, 2 for 4, turned a big double play. He was the subject of that viral interview with Aaron Boone today. Did you catch the discussion on Talkin' Yanks that I sent you?
I did catch that. I thought it was pretty testy. I don't know if you want to break it down.
So it was feisty. It was feisty. So, Boone basically was stuck on this thing of, Volpe's a great defender, and I agree with that. John Boy pressed him about his offense. Basically, he said, he's been struggling offensively, which is objectively true. Basically, if you take any 50-game stretch other than a hot week here or there, his numbers have been pretty bad since he's come up, really, as a major leaguer. He gets extremely hot and then extremely cold. And that's what Jimmy was trying to say to Boone. And Boone got really defensive. He was like, well, but the defense is legendary. The defense is, and I agree with that. So I kind of agree on both sides, but I just felt like Boone was being super defensive, super testy when he really didn't need to be. I mean, I get you want to defend your players, but I don't know. I felt like he was being a little rough for, what were obvious questions that needed to be asked.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Boone is always going to defend his guys. We've seen that time and time and again, and I think he got so testy because it's just that point in the season. I think, Talking Yanks doesn't hold back on him sometimes. I applaud them for that, for kind of grilling him. And as we know, the New York media grills the manager, Brian Cashman, all the time. But neither of them were wrong in what they were arguing about. Jimmy was right. Volpe's bat has been disappointing. He's not hitting, and he's not been hitting all year pretty much, unless you count like the first month or so of the season. And Boone is right too, but Volpe is one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball. And I think that, all this discourse around Volpe recently kind of stems from an undervaluing of his defense, because if you have a Gold Glove defender at shortstop, that is a valuable asset. The reason that Anthony Volpe has 3 wins above replacement is because he's an about average, below average hitter, but he's literally one of the best defensive shortstops in the game. I mean, his hitting, it's not knocking your socks off. I don't know if he's ever going to be that all-star hitter that he was projected to be when he was a top prospect, but He's 23 years old. He's in his second season. There's so much time for him to figure it out. So I think that, we need to reel it in a little bit. But yes, so far his bat has been very disappointing. And that being said, while this whole fan base is throwing all this negativity towards Volpe, the rant I just went on about DJ LeMahieu, let's make some demands about DJ LeMahieu not playing before we say let's give Volpe, 4 or 5 days off or something.
I hear you.
It's all right there in front of us.
I don't blame Boone for aggressively defending his guy. I thought he was a little bit over aggressive. I thought Jimmy seemed a little bit rattled for a second. Jake stepped in with a question about Dominguez or whatever, but I don't think Jimmy did anything wrong. And I think Boone needs to have a little bit, thicker skin. But I agree he should defend his players, especially the younger players. But Boone's answer was basically but defense, and Jimmy's retort was but offense. And I agree with both of them. They also talked about Trevino and Wells. Wells had another good night tonight. He said that it's going to be kind of in line with a platoon. I've been saying that I don't want a platoon, even though, Trevino slugs better against lefties, but Wells is still coming into his own as a hitter. He showed tonight again against a tough left-handed pitcher that he could hit the ball hard. He came into pinch hit halfway through, and he had an at bat against a lefty. He almost won the game with a walk-off home run. But as a young player, I want him getting the opportunity to develop this skill to hit against lefties. I don't want him to be, part of this self-fulfilling prophecy of, well, he can't hit lefties, so we're not going to play him against lefties, when he really hasn't been atrocious. He doesn't have extra base hit power against lefties, but he gets on base, right? He has competitive at-bats. And you got to think that with reps, he'll improve. Any thoughts on the Trevino-Wells topic?
Yeah, I didn't really mind it in a vacuum tonight. Like, I didn't mind Trevino starting tonight because Trevino does hit well against left-handed pitching, and the Yankees needed to get back in the win column, and that they're kind of trying to put their absolute best foot forward. I don't know how they could say that, though, with DJ LeMahieu starting, but Trevino's not a bad hitter. He's above league average. We all know he has that platinum glove. And he did just fine at the plate tonight. He had 3 walks before he got taken out for Wells. And Cleveland starter Matthew Boyd is like especially tough on left-handed hitters, but right-handed hitters do hit against him very, very well. But outside of tonight, outside of this vacuum, I'm hoping that the platoon thing really isn't something that they're going to continue with going forward. I feel like we've heard mixed things because he said on Talking Yanks that it's kind of a platoon thing, but then like last week on Foul Territory, he said that Wells would be getting most of the reps. So it's kind of weird, but I agree. Like, Wells needs to get these reps against left-handed hitters. He is a good hitter. Like, he has those competitive at-bats. He works walks. He's not going to improve against left-handed pitchers if, he's not facing them in, actual games. So I agree. I think the Yankees know what they have in Wells, and I think that they know he needs to develop against left-handed pitching, but let's just hope it doesn't continue too much going forward.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is that because we face more righties, right, that means that as a left-handed hitter, he's going to get mathematically more chances. So that's technically he's not lying when he says Wells going to get the bulk of the at-bats, but I still don't love a strict platoon. Like I said, tonight in a vacuum against a particularly tough left-handed pitcher, I get it. But, basically Wells or Trevino started like 3 out of the last 4 games or something like that. So I'm kind of lost there. Let's talk about Juan Soto's contract. Juan Soto went deep again tonight.
Pay that man his money.
And, we've been talking about how much he will actually cost and what teams could potentially be interested and who could afford the contract and what kind of contract he'll end up getting. So you'll see on your screen the top 5 largest contracts in Major League Baseball history. Shohei Ohtani at $70 million a season. That's 10 years, $700 million. Trout at $426. Mookie at $365. We know Soto will be hitting free agency a year younger than any of these guys. Mookie and Trout both got 12 years. And I think that, Soto's going to get longer than that just by default. He's not going to get Ohtani money because he doesn't pitch and he doesn't bring that Japanese endorsement money. So I don't think 700's on the table. but I think he's definitely going to beat Mike Trout's contract of $426, and he's definitely going to beat Aaron Judge's AAV of $40 million. So that puts us at a minimum of 13 years and $41 million per year. That's what I see as like the basement contract for Juan Soto. That comes out to $533 million. That's the floor. I personally believe he's going to get 13 at 50 plus. That would be $650 million. So I listed 5 teams that I think could afford him. The Yankees, it's going to be tough because they got some big contracts. The Mets actually only have about 170 committed to payroll next year. Dodgers, but would they hand out another big contract? Cubs, always looking for that big impact bat. They're, obviously a very rich team with a rich history. And then the Giants are always trying to bring in that next, big superstar. But also, we saw how well he mashed when he was in San Francisco, right? He's one of those guys that can handle that ballpark. But I think he wants to be on the East Coast. So I think, honestly, it's going to come down to Yankees and Mets. What are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I mean, I do think the major players for him are the Yankees, the Mets, and the Dodgers. But like you said, that I don't see the Dodgers handing out another huge contract after they spent like $1 billion last offseason. And then there's another Japanese pitcher coming over from the NPB, Roki Sasaki, who's like supposed to be a generational talent, just like Yamamoto was. So I think they have, I think they have their eyes on him, and he is legit. His stuff is ridiculous if you saw him in the WBC. But at the end of the day, I think it's a bidding war between the Yankees and Mets. The Yankee fan in me hopes that Soto is really just going to use the Mets as leverage, and his heart lies with us. But, another large part of me believes that he's going to go to the highest bidder. But at the same time, if the Yankees offer is just slightly less than the Mets, like if it isn't too far off, I think he ends up with the Yankees. So, I mean, it's hard to guess, what he's going to get. Often we make these predictions of what the contract's going to be, and they're completely wrong. I don't think anybody expected Shohei's to be up to 700, and then that was insane. But I do think like the 13, 15 year range, I'm going to say like 14 years. I don't know about 50 million. I would say $48 million a year. So that's a $672 million deal, if my math is correct. And
Jeez.
I think there's going to be a signing bonus and a bunch of incentives. So I also think, I think there's going to be some backloading and deferrals. I hope the Yankees would be smart about doing that and not make it super front loaded or anything.
I appreciate all these super chats, guys. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break with a word from Anytime Fitness, and then we will be back with the recap of this extra inning game. The summer gets super busy, and getting back on a good fall workout routine needs to be easy for me. With Anytime Fitness being available anytime, anywhere, they make it easy to work on getting stronger and more confident, all within my schedule. It's got to be easy to make that routine happen, and that's why I love Anytime Fitness. With access to 5,000 plus well-equipped gyms open 24/7, this is not your average gym experience. They also provide personalized coaching support, offering the best training, nutrition, and recovery guidance. This includes the Anytime Fitness app, which generates personalized workout plans or workouts programmed by your coach and tracks your daily progress. Get after it. To claim your free Anytime Fitness trial pass, visit anytimefitness.com and get yours today. We've also put that link in the description, so check it out for more information and claim that free trial pass at anytimefitness.com.
All right, let's go. Let's get it going.
Frankie Baseball with a great comment. He says, if you need to run off all that anger you have from this game, use Anytime Fitness. Obviously, they have treadmills, so you can run some of that off. And Gregory DM says, Martian, 4 for 5 today in AAA. So good to hear that Jason Dominguez has recovered from that tough debut that he had, a few days ago. So first inning, Jose Ramirez struck out swinging on a pitch that hit him in the leg. We also had a really nice play from Oswald Peraza falling over the tarp and making the catch. Peraza looks good so far. He looks good. Bottom 1, Soto with the short porch home run.
There it goes. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Home run for Juan Soto.
35th home run of the season. That ties his career high. 5th consecutive hit against the lefty that was a home run. And if he even thinks about leaving this offseason, I think we should just email him a clip of that home run, because that's not happening anywhere else. And all I have to say is give the man the bag.
Pay that man his money.
Next batter was Aaron Judge, and wouldn't you know it, Captain went deep.
It's another home run for Judge. All right. Here comes the Judge.
I love the little wow from Susan there. Wow. That's my favorite part of this whole show is the little wow from Susan there.
Wow.
Wow. Home run number 45 from Aaron Judge. 5th time this season that they have gone back-to-back. And there's no place else that can give Soto the protection that Aaron Judge gives him. Guardians got on board in the 2nd against Luis Gil, but he did pitch out of a bases-loaded situation. Ugly baseball in the top of the 3rd inning, runners on 1st and 2nd for the Guardians. There was a base hit to tie the game, and the batter ended up on second base because the Yankees botched the rundown, as they've been known to do. The fundamentals on this team has been awful, and this was another beauty from the Department of Yankees Baseball Fundamentals. Guardians went back out in front with a solo home run in the 4th, and Luis Gil's night was over. Final line, 3 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 6 walks, 3 strikeouts. Bottom 4, Trevino walked, and then Anthony Volpe smoked one into the left field gap for an RBI double. Credit to Trevino from scoring from first base. That was a beautiful hit, Aiden.
Yeah, it was. I was really excited to see that after all the the talk about Volpe today. It's nice to see him put the barrel on the ball again.
Yeah, that was scorched. He immediately stole third base, 21st stolen base of the year, but he got left stranded. Bad job from the Yankees. Left a runner on third with nobody out. DJ, I think, he bounced? Did he bounce out, or what did he do there? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was I think it was a weak ground out to
second
third base.
To second, yeah. He hit a little slow ground ball to second base. Peraza, I don't remember what he did, but he didn't reach. And then Torres didn't get the run in either. So you got to be able to get those runners in when they're basically gifting you. That would have changed the whole game right there. Volpe picked up his second hit in the bottom of the 6th to set up a good situation for the Yankees, but DJ banged into an inning-ending double play. AB, I think I've had enough of DJ LeMahieu taking at bats. Anything else left to say that's just lingering on your mind? I know you love the guy.
Yeah, I mean, you heard me earlier. I mean, I don't know what else I have to say, but just think of how many opportunities we've brought up so far and how much botched opportunities DJ LeMahieu has had so far. That's 2 on the offensive side of the plate. Then he had that bad botched double play. I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd inning.
Yeah. Cabrera got absolutely robbed of an extra base hit by the center fielder Schneemann, which is an awesome name. Diving catch. Cabrera's really looking good lately.
Yeah, entering tonight, he had a 303 average and an 817 OPS in his last 26 games, 129 WRC plus over that stretch. He's looked good. I think, if you want to give some guys days off in the infield, like throughout the week, like if you want 4 days where you're going to give one guy off, like say you give DJ off Monday, you put Oswaldo at first. You give Torres off Tuesday, you put Cabrera at second. I mean, I really think he should be playing. You got to give this guy reps because I think he's a really capable hitter at the plate.
CM says, do you want to build a Schneemann? I like it. So bottom 8, Stanton walked and got pinch run for by Grisham, and then Wells pinch hit for Trevino, an absolutely scorched one. Just missed a 2-run home run. Grisham came around third, kind of slowed up. It looked like Rojas kind of put his hands up for a second. Like there's a few angles that show that. And so I kind of don't blame Grisham. I know a lot of people were all over Grisham, but if I'm running the bases and I'm that close to the third base and I see the guy put his hands up for a second, of course I'm going to begin to slow down. And it looks like he slowed down for like 2 steps, 3 steps, and then the guy put his hands back, started waving him again. And it's like by that time you've already done the damage. Like, the horse is out of the barn there. You're going to get thrown out because you lost your momentum.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like too often something's going wrong with the Yankees third base coaches. I remember I couldn't stand Phil Nevin because he was just really, really bad at sending runners. But I think like rule number 1, if you're a base coach, is once you tell a runner to do something, you kind of have to commit, especially in that situation. You can't just go like this, then say stop, and then go right back to winding him in. I don't know what you're doing there. And to be fair, I think Grisham should have been running a lot harder than he was. I think he should have been well around second after that ball hit the wall.
Yeah, so got thrown out, but nice piece of hitting by Austin Wells, 105.9 off the bat. The StatCast somehow had the distance at 416 feet, which to me proves that they measure where it's going to land, not necessarily what it hits in its way. So it would have gone 8 feet past the wall, which tells you how hard that ball was and the kind of trajectory it was on. Clay Holmes didn't blow the game in the 9th. Nice job by him. Missed some bats for a change. Clase easily disposed of the Yankees in the 9th. Amazing job by Jake Cousins in the 10th and 11th. I was going to give him the belt. I was all set up to give Jake Cousins his first belt. We had a nice double play turn from Volpe 663. Bottom 11, Wells smoked another one to the warning track, but just missed out on a home run. LeMahieu struck out to make it 0 for 5. That dropped his batting average to 189. Like you said, 512 OPS on the season. Absolutely not acceptable for a team with championship aspirations this deep into the season. Guardians took the lead in the top of the 12th off of Mesa. Michael Tonkin should have had a strikeout, but the ump blew the call. That was an egregious blown call. It led to a bases clearing triple to make it 8-3 Guardians. They got another one. Judge doubled in the 12th to make it 9-5, but the Guardians hang on to win.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
If you ain't first, you're last.
JR says the White Sox and the Tigers were a wake-up call. Now they are just being ignorant and hard-headed like they have been for the past few seasons. Yeah, I think it's time to inject some life. I mean, I think you got to sit. I think you got to sit DJ LeMahieu indefinitely. I think you got to get the Martian up here. I think you got to put Verdugo on the bench, and Grisham, if he gets DFA'd, I mean, so what? It's August 20th. He's a good defender, but he's not going to see any time in the playoffs, right? You're not going to give anybody a day off in the playoffs. I mean, I can imagine a scenario where you need somebody gets hurt or whatever, and you need a late inning replacement. But I honestly, I wouldn't keep him on the playoff roster over somebody like Dominguez who can actually hit. So I think the writing is on the wall that pretty soon Dominguez is going to be your left fielder and Verdugo is going to be on the bench. And DJ LeMahieu, at this point, you have to consider the bench and his Yankees career possibly ending soon after.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with DJ LeMahieu not being on this team anymore. I don't know if I would just sit him indefinitely or just straight up DFA him and eat his contract because he's just clearly not a major league player anymore. Fully agree. You got to bring the Martian up and spark some life into this team. You got to hope that Poteet and Schmidt are on their way back and ready to fire. But, back with the outfield situation, you're calling the Martian up. Obviously, you put him in left field. You got Judge in center. You got Soto in right. What you do with Verdugo and Grisham after that, I really don't know. I would honestly almost argue to keep Grisham over Verdugo for the playoffs because say you need a defensive replacement in the playoffs. Do you want Verdugo out there who has, the first rule of an outfielder when there's a fly ball, you step back. You don't step in. He's done it several times this year, and it even cost them a game. Trent Grisham is one of the better defensive outfielders I've seen on the Yankees in, recent years. So if you want a defensive replacement in the playoffs, I'd want Grisham instead of Verdugo. You can, but either way, you can eat both of their contracts if you DFA them because they're free agents at the end of the year. So that's my piece.
That's an interesting take. We should do a short out of this one. But yeah, I really think that you're onto something because, Verdugo, he can't play. Well, I guess he can play all three positions, but not to the level that Grisham can. So yeah, that might be an interesting curveball that the Yankees throw us, where if they decide to go, full on with the Martian, that it's Verdugo who, loses his job instead of Grisham for the playoffs. That'll be interesting. But all right, let's get to the final thoughts here. Let's wrap it up. Long night, and I don't want to make it any longer on you guys. Reminder to follow the podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. We peaked at 25 this week in baseball, so that's pretty good after switching over and becoming Pinstripe Territory. So that's nice. We are at 41,689 subscribers, so go ahead and subscribe as we inch up towards 50,000. And obviously like the video. It helps other people find the channel. I think I'm going to go blow off some steam with some Madden, some late night Madden football. Aiden, what are you up to?
I honestly not sure. Maybe gonna play some guitar or something. Get a little lost in my thoughts. I'm jealous though. I want to play some Madden. I really wish I had a PS5 because I want to play this new NCAA game or Madden or something like that.
The college football one is pretty cool. I've been using Texas Tech. And then I just picked up Madden a couple days ago, and I'm liking it. These graphics are insane, man. I mean, I grew up with Nintendo and Atari and all that stuff, and it's just insane how this stuff looks. And the basketball game is even better. But time to blow off some steam. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Again, check out Anytime Fitness. Link is in the description, and we'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and give us a subscribe. It helps other Yankees fans find the channel. We're also on all your favorite podcast platforms and social media. Join the community, have some fun. We're here after every game. This is Pinstripe Territory.